Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Metagame Liberation Army YouTube channel. We're continuing on with the national recap videos, and today I have with me Danny Machado, My Rock, Travis Tangeman's Samurai, Team Mom. That's in contention. Don't worry about it.
I get so mad about that title.
But for our topic today, obviously we'll be talking with Danny about his experiences, but yeah, kind of just like focusing in on the, I guess, community aspect of the events, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because you aside from some maybe pickup games of UVS, you didn't play in any of the you didn't play in the main event. Did you play in any of the side events?
Not a single one.
We don't need to. We have the game.
That's right.
Yeah. And so I guess sort of like starting out with it, like in the interview with Justin, you know, he brought you up and we were talking about the sort of table corner you had, right? You kind of like set up base for everybody. So like, what was Swiss like for you, right? So like day one, you guys started on Friday. Like, how's that go?
All right, so this is like probably the third or fourth event where I'm very much like I'm not in the main event at all. I know my my objective is set up a post, and what always happens is round one, it's never correct. And where I start to set up shop is immediately like the staff will be like, "Hey, we're going to use something else." And I'm like, "God, gosh, dang it!"
I gotta ask you about that real quick. Has it been the same guy each event or no? Different staff?
No, it's usually different. Like it's been, it's also varying degrees of politeness. Like there are definitely times where, like, I think Levi's been like, "Hey man, we just need to use this for judge," and I'm like, "That makes sense. I'll go over there." Then a judge will be like, "This is a side table," and I'm like, "You're right, my bad."
My fault, man. I'll get the hell out of here. I'll never do it again.
That makes sense. But yeah, other than that, it's just, you know, find a table, figure out, lay claim to it, and then like slowly but surely, when everyone finishes their first round of Swizz, is usually when I'm like, "Hey, you want to leave stuff here? That way you don't have to carry it around as much."
Yeah.
And it's usually, you know, it's small things like that, but like I know that there's a lot of like de-stress where it's like my stuff is safe somewhere. I don't know.
No, I get it. Yeah, I definitely have brain worms that make me worried about leaving my stuff anywhere. Just like I've not had anything stolen at a Universus event, but like my brain worms are like, what if? So
this is the time.
Yeah, having the Danny safety net, like nothing's happening, no one's getting through.
For sure. You know, and there are times where it'll be like round 2 or 3 where I'll get like 5 or 6 people up, like laid claim to the table with me, and that's also when they're like, "Hey, we needed this for space for X thing." And I'm like, "Okay." I just have 7 backpacks on. I'm trying to like, waddle over to another new place, but I'll do it for them. Anything for the bros and sisters and anything in between.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I think at Atlanta I got yelled at on day 2 about the like just you guys can't sit here. Like we need this for side events.
Damn.
But I've not had the exodus of all the bags with me. I've never.
Like I wonder what the meta is going to be for Worlds, because they already had the whole like, okay, we only have enough spots for the 100 people, and I feel like I'm gonna tentatively buy a slot just to see, like, I'm gonna be in this room and see if it is 100 people exactly. And be like, maybe I take a table or something. I don't know.
You run around counting everybody. Did you do that in nationals?
There was like I tried to be. I always try to be a table or so along, like, you know, what table or so over from where the numbers stop. And unfortunately, just the size of our game, it's always like, I could have been a table or 2 over more because they never fill up. Like,
yeah. One of these days, though. One of these days it'll fill up.
I'm hoping.
Just to kind of pave the way for some stuff to talk about. He also mentioned the Danny thumbs up, thumbs down between rounds.
Yeah, that's another thing too. When as soon as I see one of the boys, I just, you know, for, you know, win or for not win.
Yeah.
And if they come at me with the thumbs up, it's let's go, baby, let's go, come on, get him hyped up, get him like, wow, that took, depending on how much time it took, it's like, whoa, you too old that guy? That's crazy. You're on recovery girl, Corey. Like, well, that's nuts. Or if they're sad, or like, if they the thumbs down, it's like, hey man, like they were playing meta stuff. What could you do? You know what? You'll get. We try to or I try to reset their mental. I'm like, it's okay, you got it. You're only X and 1. It's fine. Everything's cool, and just go from there. So it's always just it's a fun time of, I don't know, like a lot of just random or positive reinforcement, or just like, we'll get them next time, chief.
Yeah.
Like
keep their mental in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's cool when like a bunch of people are done at once and we're all just like pogging out if they all won.
Yeah.
Then there are times where, again, Corey, where I don't see the person because they played to overtime. I don't see them for like 3 hours and I have no idea what their record's like. That's when I have to go on like the UGN app and be like, how are my boys?
Yeah.
Pretty.
I unfortunately was guilty of that at Atlanta, right?
Oh yeah, I never saw you at Atlanta.
Don't play a control deck that can't win. Don't do that.
Like, I think we were like 5 rounds in when someone mentioned Dean, and I'm like, oh yeah, Dean is here. I forgot that I talked to that guy today.
I think for the most part at nationals, everyone had like pretty decent records, like that you see them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the funniest one, I never know how Nate's doing, because I feel like Nate's always stoic until he gets over to us all the way. So I'm always very just like, and he's one of the people who I feel like feels the most whether he won or lost. So he's very much like the, how do I approach this, John? But as soon as that thumbs up goes up, it's, we're so back, baby. We're so shaking. Like, it's so.
Yeah, no, Nate's really passionate about the game for sure.
Oh,
so
for sure, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. They killed his son. Poor guy.
They killed our son, dude. Maymak's fucking dead.
I forget that you played that guy. When's the last event you went to, nerd?
Okay, like I played him at last year's Nats. Like that's gotta count.
Oh, excuse me.
I played him before he had the cool chaos cards. No Knots Blast, no Determined Advance, no Detonation. Like I was an OG, all right?
Yeah, Justin was in the trenches with double jab pommel, trying to turn 2 people.
Yeah, okay. I was in the trenches with wire arrow, bro. Like no one knows what that card does.
It's rotating. God bless.
I'll miss it. There was a. What else did I want to ask about the rounds?
Mm-hmm. Oh. There was a lot of definitely like. There's also when it was different this time too, because like the whole split day setup of this one was also interesting, because there was a lot of. Usually, I feel like what I usually do at these events too is when it's the long day. Not everyone's hungry at like lunch break. We have different types. I know, like, I think Justin just doesn't usually like eating during events, but like the boy needs nutrition. So
you gotta have something in your belly.
Yeah, so I try to like in between something like get them thing, like especially during the break. I try to be like, do you want something for or like something small, and try to catch them at end of rounds. That way they're at least up on something, you know? Because that can definitely take a toll, especially if you're on like the losing end of stuff. But the fact that we had the split day this time meant like it didn't really like there was never really a time where I'm like, I gotta get them food. So we only had 4 rounds one day, 5 rounds the other day, or whatever. 3 rounds 4.
Yeah, it's kind of like a locals in that sense, right? Like,
yeah.
So
which is another cool thing on like their mental in general too, where like the people who are up were like, tomorrow's chill, it's gonna be great, everything's gonna be sick, wonderful. And the people who are on the edge were like, I mean, what? At least side events are tomorrow, right? It's gonna be great. I'm
not locked in the Thunderdome for 8 rounds in one day.
It's gonna be lit. That was another thing too, when you get to that moment, being like the sideline person, whatever, when it's someone comes and it's like dream crushed, right? There's obviously the emotional part, but again, this time, at least before the Top Cut boys, most everyone pretty took it well. So I think we had a good understanding of like, we didn't make it, whatever, it's fine. We got side events now. It's only been the second round of the day. Mental is already like pretty clear. So it's really cool that UVS games did that, and I hope it continues to some extent if they can. But
yeah, it'll depend, right? Because like sometimes the travel days, like some people use Friday as a travel day. But like, it is cool hearing you talk about it so highly, because like that is one thing I missed about Nats, where it's like I've never had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday tournament experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was super weird to be done with day one and then be like, okay, like we can do whatever we want to, except for the top people. But then there's actually, oh no, wait, we do have to actually. There is stuff more tomorrow, and then the next day, instead of it just being too, I don't know how to describe it. Like I think your mental gets like playing stuff out, and it's weird to have stuff on every different day, but it doesn't feel that bad. I don't know how to explain
Yeah.
it.
No, I get it. You're not yeah, you don't have to use like all the brain power day one, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's similar to a local event. It's not
Mm-hmm.
not as stressful as like the full 8-9 rounds in one day.
For sure. Yeah, we'll get there.
Um,
Oh.
I guess another thing too was like, so you still brought cards to the event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't just for you, right?
No, that was yeah. So those are yeah. I very much have weird brain worms when it comes to playing UVS. So like, I very much like collecting cards, and I do like playing. There's just something about I don't know if it's just playing with strangers or if it's playing in like these bigger events. Because like even at locals, sometimes I don't. No, I shouldn't say sometimes. Even at locals, I find it hard to play. Sometimes. I don't know what it is, but like
Yes.
I just have cards. I have a bunch of cards, and I don't play as much as I should. Right. So for someone like Travis, who I know obviously is very good at the game and plays a lot. It's hard for him, but sometimes it's hard for him to get every card, especially when we have 300 card plus sets.
Yes.
It's hard for him to home in on certain stuff and things get whatever. I will very much supply cards for MGLA people constantly. Like I think Travis's whole deck, I was just like, I showed up with it, and I'm like, here you go, buddy. Go
Yeah.
do a crime.
So what you're really saying is you won nationals, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, like,
I don't want to say it.
I don't know. But yeah, and then I think I did less lending out this time just because people happen to figure out their own connections. But I know I've lent with Justin cards before. Um, I think Mackenzie's had a couple of cards just from like giving him cards at locals, like they might have something in his deck.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Like I know Corey's borrowed cards. Like there's a lot of like whenever we need to filter like fill cards in, I'm definitely someone who's like, I got stuff. I got a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But then I also brought cards just like to play in between rounds too, because again nationals was a little different just because again there wasn't. It was both like mentally taxed for people where they wanted to make sure they did well, so they weren't focusing on a lot. But there was also like we had time to do it not in between rounds. But I know like for Atlanta, there was very much the joke of like Nathan will be done with his round, come to me, and we'd play a quick round of retro because retro games last 2 minutes anyway, and that was his like mental reset every time. He'd finish his round, beat my butt in with Jean Hua, and then go play again. And that was just on clockwork the entire day.
Well, what was the retro deck you brought? Is it the same from Atlanta? Or?
I know a few. Like this time I brought around. We also have I think me and Corey kind of try to do it a lot. Justin does it a lot too. Where every event we try to buy like a new retro deck. Like that's like our keystone of the event. So I know for Atlanta when I played with Nate, it was Akuma 2. That was like the one I played a lot with him. And then this time around, I brought everything I have, but I think this time I built Lilith 2. I think was the one. And yeah, it was just like I didn't get to play as much because again, we just didn't end up doing it in between rounds. But
yeah. Nice. And I know that Akuma deck's messed up. I'm pretty sure I played Frank with it, right? I don't know the name of the attack, but he had like 3 copies of the one that clears from the card pool for powerful, I think.
Oh yeah. I couldn't tell you the name of it too. I just know it's when his arm's up, and I'm like, oh, like I'm dead.
I'm dead. Yep.
That picture. Yeah, Nate did a lot of because he felt bad playing people with the Zhonghua, I think, or he just didn't have their deck on him at times. So he would play my Akuma deck, and he was very much like, "Oh, this is how you kill people," and just was the aggro guy for once.
Yeah.
And that was also just fun to watch.
This is how you end a man's life.
Yeah. Yeah, so I very much like being an arms dealer in the sense of cards. Like I like giving people the means to destroy lives.
Yes,
my brain don't work so well sometimes. So.
You have a conscience. You can't You couldn't
Oh,
dare slaughter another
I
person.
couldn't. Yeah, I'm like, I can get this to 15. That's their whole life. Nah,
Yeah.
I'll pass.
They're at 1 health. You have an electric jolt in hand. It's just not easy to enhance.
You know what? You got it. Game 2. I
Man,
can't kill you.
just can't. It wouldn't be right.
It wouldn't be right. You'd be sad. Like, you can't do that to you.
So on a less sad note of killing people, I wanted to talk about the little mini adventure you were on with the signage of confronting the MLA.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I think I should have got that ready before we started. I'm pretty sure.
We're so back.
Yeah. Yeah. I got the funny little card signature. Wow. Look at it. Look at those funny little signatures.
Hell yeah. And so like the background on that is so at Atlanta, I wanted to do one of those because, like, you know, it's the only card in the game with our team name, like, yeah,
like the origin.
Yes, yeah, like mentioned on a card. And I just think it's cool to have a like team, I don't know, artifact. That's not the right word.
I was gonna say relic, but yeah, like we were in the same mental thing. Yeah,
yeah.
Just some item of power.
Yes, yeah. Where it's, you know, it's got everyone's name on it that was at the event, and it's dated the event that it was, right? So like, for I know when I was at Atlanta, I did it Sunday, and just kind of like ran around and getting everyone's signature on it or initials on it. What was your experience with it at the event?
Same sort of things that I remember to do it like day one.
Yeah.
I don't think I got everyone's day one because even like pre-event jitters, like people are walking around talking to everybody before like round one gets announced. So whoever was sitting with me at the table, I remember getting a few there. And then the first couple rounds was a lot. Whoever came back to the table, I'm like, hey, did you sign this yet? And I'm like doing them. I remember that I forgot to put the date on it immediately after already getting like 8 or so signatures. So the space was dwindling down. And then I remember talking to you about it. You're like, oh yeah, make sure you get it dated. And I'm like, huh?
I got to do what now?
And that was fun, but I was able to get it on there. And then I think the only one who did like a funny thing with it was Justin. Justin tried to go the distance where he only added a letter after every round one. And then I think after his record, he straight up, like he got his full first name and one initial, like for his last name. So it kind of worked out. It worked like perfectly.
Yeah, so, I didn't know that part about his signature.
Yeah. So there's a silver lining in losing. You know what I mean? Like you make the best of everything.
It adds a story. If he won every round, we wouldn't know the story. Like there'd be no difference.
Yeah, like I think even if you didn't win it all the way, I think you would have gone to like Marquis, if anything. I don't think you would have gotten his full last name.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe Justin Mart, which would have been funny too.
We got to get someone with a small name for it, or a bigger event, I guess.
Yeah. And like even on the topic of like signing stuff, I know like a lot of us signed Mackenzie's mat, and then he had people sign the mat from Atlanta because they forgot to have it signed.
Yeah.
So like that was long signing there, and then I know Justin's national mat we signed, and he wanted to do something different, just people's names. So we all wrote funny little quotes that we had to so you could figure out who wrote what, and you could tell from it. Like I know Jacob Assur wasn't even there yet, or he wasn't even there when we talked about it. But I know I asked him if he wanted to sign it, and he signed like, "We'll always have our little date in X wherever they did it," and he knew immediately who that was because of their funny little name. And I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about, but all right, nice.
Nice. Yeah, I remember. I think Bree got a lot of signatures on her mat at Atlanta.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely
got a couple. I think she got a couple this time too from just the people that weren't in Atlanta, like Matt and I think Scott. Very good. So
yeah, I don't think Scott was at Atlanta. But yeah, no, it's always like a fun little mini game at events, whatever you're signing, right?
Yeah. To get people to do the thing.
Good. Let's see. So I guess a lot of topic, like it's been scattered about the weekend, right? But like,
Mm-hmm.
we talked a little bit about, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I guess focusing on Sunday, um,
Mm-hmm.
what was it like watching the top cut of the event, right? Because like we did have people in it that we
Yeah.
wanted to see
Oh yeah.
succeed. So
Mm-hmm.
at like the base
I
of
remember.
operations.
Yeah. So I remember our first, like the top 16 bracket was actually so wonderfully stacked for like if we all everyone in the MGLA won a game, it was awesome because no one gate kept anyone.
Yeah.
Like I think the closest thing was like I know he's not technically like he's not we talked to him whatever he's just a friend of the group, but
Yeah.
like it was like Ryan versus Jacob, right? So like that
Yes.
would be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
saddest one. But even then, like I like no offense to Ryan, I wouldn't be sad if he lost. Like but yeah, like I think like everyone had a match into somebody that wasn't an NBL member, so it was very like we can do it, we can get a bunch of people at thing, it's gonna be great. Oh,
Yeah.
and then watching like just Justin's match was the first stream match, and watching that go was nuts. And then I think the funniest thing for at least top 16 was Corey and Recovery Girl, first one done. And we immediately were like, that can't be good. He faced the Ymir. There's no way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he walks over like with his thumbs up, and we're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I turned to him twice." We're like, what? And he's like, "I don't know, like the stars align." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that was crazy. And then watching Justin do his thing, and it was like heart wrenching when like he didn't make it, whatever. But thankfully, like like he from being with Justin at several events, right? Especially one where he does well, he does it, and like he does well, but obviously like doesn't make it all the way or whatever. There's always obviously this goes for anyone who gets high up in those certain spots, but like he lost, and like he knew that he lost. At least like there were like I think he specifically said there were like two things that where he specifically was like, why didn't I do this thing? So like he was very hard on himself for the first like 5 or so minutes, right? And I
Yeah.
remember immediately coming over to me and going, "Hey, like I need to be like with my like by myself for a bit." And he took like his headphones and went, and I was like, "What can you do, right?"
Yeah.
But it was so awesome seeing him like 5 minutes later, not even come back and be like, "I'm still kind of in my feelings, but you know what? It's not worth it." You know what? And like just watching, I don't think the Justin of like last year would have done that. You know what I mean? I don't think the
Yeah.
Justin that I first met would have like been like that. And it's just so cool seeing like noticing or seeing little things like that of like people like who are not only getting better at the game but getting better at like taking L's well, right? Especially if it's one of the stuff that they're like, I messed up, right?
Yeah. Because
um
I
sorry.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say, like, I love the passion that everyone has for the game.
For sure.
But with that passion can come like extreme feelings both ways.
For sure.
And yeah, seeing out. So it sounds like from your perspective, being there, that uh, our the gang that didn't advance after top 16 took it pretty well.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Like I think everyone when they first came back again had that initial like, God dang it.
Yes.
But I think everyone pretty much recovered almost instantly, and we're trying to like, like focus on the positive, see what they could do about it being bada boom, right?
Yes.
Um, and yeah, just like I know like Justin was immediately like, all right, like what's next, or like I hope the rest of the boys make it or whatever, or just starts doing other little side things. I don't know what side events were there on Sunday, but he just started doing other little things.
Yes.
I know Nate started walking around, like again, trying to focus on like the, what else might not be so bad, all this other things. And then I don't really know how I think Jacob still took it well, but I don't think I saw him. I think he was kind of like, all right, well, I lost. Time to do stuff in Florida or Texas, it's just,
Yeah.
um,
I at least try to check in with all three of them after.
yeah,
Just like messaging them about it, like
yeah.
what I did, because I was there.
Right, yeah.
But so that's just like that was just round like top 16, right? So
Oh yeah.
spoilers. As like obviously Travis and Corey were in finals.
Yeah.
What sort of like there was the team photos you guys took, like
Yep.
you know, how is that?
Those
Because
are awesome.
Justin was talking highly about the cameramen and just kind of like giving you guys some
Yes,
time for that.
yes. I kept me. I feel bad. I told myself like 40 times before this to get that, like remember that dude's name. And I feel very bad that I did it. But cameraman at event, super awesome dude, super sick guy. I
Uh,
think he is also just art dude for UVS also, or at least is in the internal working stuff
uh,
because he also gave me and Spencer like a little tidbit about how Soup's art took like forever to get re-accepted. I guess something was wrong with the liquid inside of the actual soup, and it just wasn't translating well. Or I guess, and we were
fuck.
just like, huh? And he just, I don't know. but that guy was sick. He gave random lore tidbits, and he pulled up with our nonsense when we were trying to figure out how to incorporate you and Frank, people who weren't at the event, into the photo,
Uh,
even though we're taking up the time for everyone else's team photo. He went along with their shenanigans for the funny finals photo. Like that guy was awesome. Like that, love that dude.
yeah. Was it Hitch? I don't know if that's his name, but
Mate,
I've
you could honestly say a bunch of names. I'd be like, yeah, kind of. I'm dumb. Like it's me. Like
uh,
I don't remember.
I think Hitch is the name of one of the art guys on the team, but I'm not 100
Mhm,
percent sure. I know it starts with an H. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, and like about the photo getting people that weren't there in the photo, like
Yeah,
I really appreciated that. If you look in the team photo from day 1 or 2, I think, right? It wasn't like
yeah. I think it was day 2. I don't
that.
think it was top. It wasn't Top Gun day, but I don't think it was the first day.
Gotcha.
I could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
So on day 2, Justin's holding up his phone,
Mhm,
and it's got my Discord profile pic on it because he couldn't find a
mhm.
photo of me. And then
Yeah.
I believe Nate's holding up
Yep.
Frank's Discord profile pic. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That one, unfortunately, like angle wise, just like the camera just was bright. Like it just shone.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the angle was just not working. But we tried. We did.
yeah. I know, Frank knows, anyone watching this
Yeah.
knows, like we were there. We were there in spirit.
That's right. That's right.
Hell yeah. But that was
Uh,
that's also kind of like I want to like glaze the team aspect of like, you know, I watched a lot of events at home. Like
mhm.
I haven't gone to every single Universus event, and I've usually had
Right.
fun watching the streams,
Mhm,
um, and like chatting in like Discords or whatever about it. But like especially with this
mhm,
nationals, it was both a ton of fun to have people I was like really rooting for to do well because
mhm,
the friendship there, but
mhm,
also like being a part of it in essence
mhm.
without being there or like being present in those photos was awesome.
Right.
um Obviously we talked a little bit on Discord as the event was going on, right?
Mhm.
Because like you're man in the fort, you got your phone out,
Yeah.
uh posted some memes during this whole thing, right? Like, and yeah, I'm just trying to reiterate, join if there's a group of people that you like really vibe with, like maybe start your own team, like
Yeah. Yeah. This is all pretty much homegrown. Like we don't have any like we don't have anyone sponsoring us or anything, right? We're just a bunch of dudes, dudettes, and whatever, like who love universes, and we're like, what if we wore matching shirts sometimes? That's literally it.
uh
Like,
yeah. And I'll give you this kind of the same thing we're talking about, but I did want to ask,
mhm.
you haven't necessarily been playing it in the main events, right? But um I want to know like what keeps you coming back, because you've gone to a lot of events over the past couple of years
Yeah,
since you've been playing, right?
for sure. Yeah. Um, it's just hanging out with my friends. I don't know. I also very much I want to be like still very much tied to the game because again, like I like the game a lot.
Mhm.
I've said it a bunch where like I think it's probably my favorite like 1v1 formatted game. Just
Mhm.
as like drawing up the hand sets every turn is awesome.
Yes,
And the
yeah.
back and forth between the hand step stuff I think is also very nice. Where it's just a lot of like you do thing, I do thing, not like you just do thing and I'm like, well that stinks. But
Yes.
like I don't know, like in terms of actually going to events, yeah, I like having excuses to like do a thing with friends. Like I don't know, it's a lot of good people. Like everyone's awesome. Rush CCP guys are sick. Sean's cool. All the fun around guys. Jacob's always fun to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing everyone being in a different place, going through different whatever. Like we went to like a round one on Sunday night with everyone. That was cool too. Watching Keenan Meadows absolutely destroy him on a boat was insane. And like you can't do that if you don't go, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Like I got to see footage of it, but I wasn't there. You know, I didn't.
yeah, completely caught us off guard. Literally came in with Jesse Cervini. Maybe said 2 words, if anything. I was just like started going at it, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
Well, he was on a boat, clearly,
and it was going fast, and yeah, like I don't know, it's game's really good. I always want to be up on stuff because even though I'm nowhere near as like good or super up on meta stuff or whatever card wise, I want to be like this is probably the most I've ever understood how people watch like sports but don't play sports but are very like into it, right? Where I'm just very much I want to be caught up with things. I want to know what's on the up and up, what players doing, what are they feeling. I want to know stuff about meta stuff. I just want to be able to talk with my friends and teammates to both vibe with just about the game, about dumb deck stuff or cool relevant things, but also like I know they want to improve and get better too. Even though it's not necessarily my goal, I want to help them get there, right?
Yeah,
because it's all about helping the friends, right? The buddies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the shared card games I think are about the shared experience and the community, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about as a kind of like winding down here?
I don't necessarily think so. I do like how most of the people that I talk to at events like employee wise are pretty lighthearted and like put up with us. like Barrett is really cool. I played a commander game with him. That was nice. He talks a little cool stuff. Jeremy, I believe it was Jeremy Ray.
Yes.
Was just talking outside the hall, just about like we were giving perspectives. This is before the BNR thing, right? But we were giving our perspectives about like, do you see what's going on? He's like, yeah, we see what's going on, but like you gotta understand like there's only so much we can do or what we have to do to make sure. We also understand where our X's problem, but how do we fix it, right? It's not just like and getting like being able to talk to that guy and just especially like just being there. Like obviously I've never talked to him before, but like being able to be around him during a conversation, he's pretty candid. It's super nice and super cool. Levi's always, just like a fun, unique man.
Yeah.
Sean's cool. Like I said, Sean's with Jacob's cool. Guile is awesome. Whenever he, me and Spencer did a silly little thing where, when we were sitting down, the way the camera, I wish I could remember the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it was day one. I think.
It must have been. Maybe it was day one. I know it was after Spencer. So, our boy Spencer, but really nice, morally uptight dude. He saw that his foils, some of his cards were kind of warping, and he was worried about how they would be. And he straight up just went to, I believe Ryan Steele was the head judge, and he was like, "Hey, like I don't want this to be an issue." So like, he showed him his card. He's like, "Is this like? Do you think this is too bad, or like is this not as bad?"
Is it?
And like Ryan was pretty upfront with him about like, it doesn't look great. We'll try to fix it with inner sleeves. Tried to fix it with inner sleeves, but still didn't work. And he's like, yeah, it's not looking great. So Spencer just was like, okay, you know what? I'll take the L. I'll drop now. It's fine.
Is it?
Like straight up, it's not a big deal. Like I appreciate, yeah, whatever. I'd rather this than anyone acting like calling me out on anything later. So Spencer was with me, I think after round 2 or 3. So maybe it was day one then.
Is it?
But we're just sitting there and we're watching on my phone, right? Like whatever stream match was on, especially if one of the boys was on it. But we noticed when the camera was on the announcers right before they actually went to the card play, it went out into the
you could see you could see like the vendors and like most of the room where they were sitting.
Right. We realized that we were like very on the edge of the corner, but we were in line of sight of camera. And I think it was Spencer who had the idea of like we had to do something slightly silly. So we just switched seats. And then we looked, and we could see us literally get up and switch. And literally every 10 seconds, I would count it down. And we did that for a solid, I want to say, minute or two. Just get up, switch, get up, switch. And we were just sitting there laughing to ourselves. No one else cared. No one gave it a hoot nanny.
I was watching for it. I clipped, I think, 3 swaps Twitch can't cover the whole thing,
right?
But, yeah, they were
But no,
just
like
spinning around.
I think even in your clip, I think Lenoku like walks up to us like just to talk in general because he's just getting very friendly.
Yeah.
But like he gets in between us, and we have to get up and be like, "Oh, excuse me, guys," like get around. And he's just he's like, "What's happening?" And we're just like, "No, don't worry about it. Keep your conversation up.
Just keep talking to us. Look me in the eye. Just keep talking to me. There's no problems here."
A very well-decorated player in Travis Tangeman, right? I mean, he has had a lot of success. Wipe me the floor with this Krista deck that wasn't on anyone's list except for these guys. The
of Swiss today.
I was wrong. I apologize.
Because we want to allow players to play in the side events, like Spotlight and MHA Spotlight happen at the same time. We're probably going to bounce back and forth between them.
Whatever we can snag, right?
Yeah, whatever you snag. And coming back, thanks for like, well, that's what happens.
I think that's the weirdest part about a tournament like this. We've never done it this way, and I'm excited to see how it feels and like how the flavor in our game of Universes that like the best players have to play the best they can. I haven't experienced something like that.
I mean, we're from the days of we had to play all Swiss.
But that being said, don't go anywhere, guys. We're gonna have a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna come back with round 4, and then fun side events. We can have fun today.
Yeah.
It's not all high intensity, you know.
Exactly.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you very shortly.
And that was like, because we want to do something a little silly, but we understood because I think they warned us, or the entire event hall at the beginning, like, hey, when the camera's on, don't do anything stupid. And we're like, well, we could do something kind of stupid.
Yeah, they really said that to you guys. Dude, I was going to be standing there eating Pringles if I was there, like, right between them, just, like, deadpan, like,
I think you could have gotten away with that for a little bit, yeah. But I think they were probably mostly just, like, don't go over there and, like, flip the bird, right? Or don't go over there and, like, moon the camera. Like, yeah.
Damn.
Part of the two that was funny, though, was I think the punishment was, like, it could be game loss or even disqualified. And I'm like, I don't care. I could go.
You can't hurt me.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Ask me politely but firmly to leave? Yeah, I'll probably do it. Okay. But we got to get there first.
Danny, a naked man fears no pickpocket.
Yeah. I should have pretended. I was like, no, don't give me. Oh, I'll pick a game loss. All right.
Do it again.
No, this one. Gosh, dang it. No.
All right. So it sounds like it was a pretty good event. I'm gonna, we're reached kind of the end of time here. Yeah. So I'm gonna sort of sign us off. I'm Constantine, Pringles Man on the Discord. This is Danny. And do you want to say your Discord name, or are you good?
I mean, it's Moose's 95. I don't talk a lot on anything, but like I am there. So whenever I do, if you see some dude Moose 95 say something crazy, that is probably me. But
yeah, this is our recap video for Danny at Nationals a couple weeks ago. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, check out the Metagame Liberation Army website. We're gonna link that in the description. And we're gonna keep pumping these out. I think David might be the next one, but don't hold me to that. But
that's gonna be a fun insight. That's a vendor. I'm gonna tell you about how cool selling and buy lists are. That's sick. Yeah. There's a lot of vendor stuff to learn from that one. But all right, everybody, we're signing out. Bye bye.